Thieves. In the ancient land of Canaan, a place brimming with promise and destiny, a pivotal moment was unfolding. Eleazar the priest, Joshua son of Nun, and the leaders of the tribes of Israel had gathered together. The air was thick with anticipation. Before them, the tribes of Israel stood on the cusp of receiving their inheritance, the long-awaited fulfillment of a divine promise whispered in the wilderness so many years before. This wasn't just about land, too. It was about the culmination of a journey, a testament to faith tested by time and trial. At the sacred meeting tent in Gilgal, the solemn ceremony of allotment began. The process was guided not by human ambition, but by sacred lot. Unrolled scrolls lay beside smooth stones, each one representing a piece of the future. As the lots were drawn, the land west of the Jordan River was divided among 9.5 tribes. Free. Precisely as the Lord had commanded through his servant Moses. It was a moment of profound significance. A divine transaction being carried out on earth. But one tribe, the Levites, received no large territory. Their inheritance was different, more intangible, yet just as vital. They were granted towns, scattered throughout the lands, surrounded by wide, green pasture lands for their flocks. Their true inheritance was their sacred service to the Lord, calling that set them apart and placed them at the spiritual heart of the nation. As the distribution of land continued, a figure of quiet strength and seasoned experience emerged from the tribe of Judah. It was Caleb, the son of Jephunneh, the Kenizzite. His eyes were bright, filled with a light that time had not dimmed. With his staff held steady in his hand, he walked with a purpose that commanded attention. Here approached Joshua at Gilgal, his presence radiating a deep and unshakable confidence, his heart a vessel overflowing with memories of a promise made long ago. He was not there to ask for a favor, but to claim a destiny. Caleb's mind traveled back through the decades, to a time when he was a younger man, full of vigor and a different kind of fire. He spoke to Joshua, not as a petitioner, but as a partner in a shared history. He remembered the very words of the Lord, spoken through Moses at Kadesh Barnea. I was 40 years old, Caleb recounted, his voice firm with the clarity of a memory held dear. When Moses, the servant of the Lord, sent me from Kadesh Barnea to explore this land, he recalled the journey, the sights of a land flowing with milk and honey, but also the intimidating presence of its powerful inhabitants. He remembered the fear that gripped the hearts of his fellow spies, their reports filled with doubt and hesitation, which spread like a contagion through the Israelite camp. But Caleb's report was different. While others were overcome with hesitation and made the hearts of the people melt in fear, he continued, I held to what I believed. I followed the Lord my God wholeheartedly. He reminded Joshua of Moses' solemn vow on that day, a promise forged in the crucible of faith against fear. Moses affirmed that the very ground my feet had touched would be my inheritance, and for my children after me, because I had wholly followed the Lord. It was a promise that had sustained him through 45 long years of wandering in the desert, a beacon of hope that never faded. Now, standing before Joshua, Caleb was 85 years old. The years had etched lines on his face, but they had not touched the strength of his spirit or the resolve in his heart. Q was a living testament to God's sustaining power. The Lord has kept me alive, he declared, his voice resonating with gratitude and power. Just as he said, these 45 years since the time that the Lord spoke this word to Moses, while Israel walked in the wilderness. And now, behold, I am this day 85 years old. He was not a man looking for a quiet retirement. He was a warrior, ready for his next battle. Shnei, I am as strong today, he proclaimed. Vlit. Liftu's travel soared toward the rising sun, a symbol of his enduring capability, as I was in the day that Moses sent me. My strength for war, and for going and coming, is as it was then. So now, Give me the hill country of which the Lord spoke on that day. The inheritance Caleb claimed was no gentle, rolling valley, easy for the taking. It was the formidable region of Hebron, Zeth. This was a place known for its towering inhabitants, the Anakim, powerful figures who dwelled in large fortified cities perched high on the hills. It was a land that had made other spies tremble, a challenge that seemed insurmountable to the faithless. But true confidence, the kind born from a deep trust in God, does not retreat from great challenges. It sees them as opportunities for God's power to be displayed. Caleb's request was an act of audacious faith. Perhaps. "The Lord will be with me," he said. His words, a powerful blend of humility and conviction, "and I shall drive them out, just as the Lord said." He wasn't relying on his own strength, but on the unfailing help of his God. Joshua, who had stood with Caleb all those years ago, looked at his old friend. He saw the same unwavering faith, the same wholehearted devotion that had set Caleb apart in the wilderness. Moved by this incredible display of faithfulness, Joshua did not hesitate. He blessed Caleb. In a sacred moment, with the tribes of Israel watching in awe, Joshua placed his hands upon him. A warm, divine light seemed to settle over them, sealing the act. Joshua granted Caleb the hill country of Hebron, not as a gift, but as the honored and earned inheritance of a faithful heart. From that day forward, Hebron belonged to Caleb and his descendants, a permanent monument to the man who followed the Lord God of Israel with wholehearted devotion. And so, Caleb, at 85 years of age, went up and conquered the mountain. He drove out the giants and took possession of his promise. With this victory and the settlement of the tribes, a profound calm settled over the land. The wars ceased, and the land experienced rest. Serve. The fields of Hebron began to bloom under the care of a new generation. Shepherds guided their flocks peacefully on the hillsides, and the laughter of children could be heard playing beneath the shade of ancient olive trees. The sound of the shofar, the ram's horn, drifted through the hills, not as a call to battle, but as a note of peace and celebration. The promise was fulfilled, proving a timeless truth that a steadfast and wholehearted faith, a faith that dares to believe in God's promises even when faced with mountains and giants, will always lead to its glorious inheritance. When others hesitated and saw only obstacles, Caleb saw a promise waiting to be claimed. He embraced the challenge because he was focused on the one who made the promise. His story encourages us to dare to believe like Caleb, to ask for our mountains, and to trust that with God's help, those very mountains will welcome us. Thank you for watching. If this story inspired you, please like, share, and subscribe for more content that explores the power of faith.